5,000 copies of the same file on employee's hard drive, by user Crazy Bloxy and Empirans. I got a ticket from an employee saying that their hard drive was almost full. So I asked them what they've been doing lately on the PC that was taking up so much space, such as if they had been downloading too many files lately, when they last cleared their cache, etc. So, I remote in, go into the browser and clear the cache, but employee is still uncomfortable with the free space on their drive. So I clear the %temp% folder. Employee still uncomfortable with remaining free space. So, concerned something might be wrong, I start running an antivirus scan on the employee's PC. For a while, the file names being shown were all similar. They went like file1.txt, file2.txt, and I think it stopped at around file 5000.txt. I then checked the files and yup, they took up a lot of space. I asked the employee why they had 5,000 copies of the same file, and the employee replied that they were trying to back it up. Apparently, keeping 5,000 copies of the same file was a good way to do so, and they didn't get the meaning of have multiple copies of your data. Trying not to laugh over the call, I simply tell the employee that they can upload the file to the network drive. Employee then uploads the file to the drive, and deletes the 4,999 copies of the same file. Now, they're comfortable with the free space on their drive. I end the call, close the ticket, and hopefully they won't make the same mistake again. Edit, I found the edit post button. Not even the IT support tech is infallible. The file in question was a report in PDF format that was somehow so important. Edit 2, well, this is the first time since 2020 that I've made a post that got upvoted a lot. Thanks very much for reading this. As of writing this, June 23, 2022, 9:46 AM UTC +8, there's 112k views on this and a 99% upvote rate. Edit 3, I'm keeping an eye on what they upload to the network drive, no need to remind me. But all the other kids have silver ones, by user ThinkPadFan1. I've just picked up a ticket something along the lines of, I need a new laptop ASAP. The screen has gone fuzzy and isn't as sharp as colleagues with newer equipment. Contact via IM. Me, hi, I'm from IT. Are you able to elaborate on the issues you're having with your laptop? MNGR, all the other managers have silver ones and mine is an old grey one. Me, the silver ones are the last generation, they were replaced with the grey ones, like the one you have. MNGR, can't you just swap mine for a nice silver one? Me, sigh. / note for future equipment refreshes, laptops must be shiny, otherwise we'll never convince users that they're better than the ones they already have. Users lying is one thing, but colleagues in IT lying, by user tricachinery. Where I work, I cannot really complain about users. They do some silly things, but most are fully aware of their computer illiteracy and come to us before breaking things further. It creates more work for my team, but that additional work keeps my team in their jobs, meaning I can stay away from support and focus on system administration, engineering, integration and automation, vendor relations. If anything, by far the worst person I have to deal with is a member of my team. Or had to deal with, I should say. Prior to working for the company, this person claimed to be a full-stack .NET developer, but wanted to move into system administration and engineering, so took a job in IT support. This didn't make sense to me until few months later when I realized the full-stack .NET developer thing was likely a lie. They had taken a look at a PowerShell script I was writing and asked me what a for loop was and didn't recognize a .NET ArrayList class. But that's another story. And I'll refer to this person as $fullstack from now on. Maybe 6 months into $fullstack's time with the company, I sent an email out to the department to say that I had automated an administrative task that was previously performed manually, so they wouldn't need to keep coming to my team with related requests. After I sent the email, $fullstack came over to me and said that looks more interesting than what I do, can I learn to do it too? I said sure, PowerShell is an invaluable tool in your line of work, if you have any questions about it, I'll gladly answer them. I also told them that their experience with .NET would give them a head start. Of course, I strongly believed that their experience with .NET was a fabrication, but maybe I could have been wrong. $fullstack then asked me if they could take a day off each week to learn PowerShell. I said no. I explained that they should be able to learn PowerShell on the job and suggested that, whenever they did something manually, find out afterwards how they could have performed the task using PowerShell. Then evaluate whether it would have been faster to have initially performed the task using PowerShell so they know whether or not they should solve the issue next time manually or with PowerShell. This was how I learned PowerShell, and it's how many people I know learned it too. I've always been of the opinion that you learn faster through applying than studying the theory. And, while there's a place for studying theory in your learning journey, nay, it's essential. But studying theory and applying practically should be done side by side, and there were plenty of opportunities full stack to apply PowerShell to his daily work. So I set some ground rules. Git templates are fine, set, disable, remove, and the like should be used with caution. Test with a what-if flag before you use any of these. If you're making a change on a system like AD or Exchange, rather than a client endpoint, check with me before running anything other than a Git template. These rules were sent to full stack by email, and I asked them to reply to the email to confirm that they understood them. Given I was ultimately responsible for anything full stack did, I had to cover myself. And things seemed to go well, at first. full stack came to me excited when they realized they could query whether an account was locked or when a password was last changed using getaducer. I suggested they write a script that prompts the operator to enter a username using read host, and then passes this into the getaducer template, so they didn't need to manually type it out in the console every time. Then we had an issue with the internal Wi-Fi adapters on some laptops randomly disabling themselves, and full stack showed me how they could open a PowerShell console as administrator and use getNetAdapter and then enable NetAdapter to fix the issue, without having to log the user out and then log in as admin to do it. Great job, full stack. I knew you could do this already, but I figured I'd give full stack this little victory. But then, a few weeks later, full stack deleted around 50 computer objects from Active Directory while I was on lunch. As I had been on lunch, the issue had been escalated to the server team, and my manager had gotten involved. We were incredibly fortunate that it had happened on this particular week, not the previous one, as the Active Directory recycle bin had only just been enabled. During the post-mortem, it was discovered what they had done. It turned out they had used equals in an if statement instead of EQ, so the conditional statement always resolved as true. It appeared as though full stack never ran the script with what if to see which computers would be deleted, and, as full stack was running a template against Active Directory rather than a client endpoint, they should have checked with me before running it anyway. A small meeting was held between me, my manager, the head of the server team, and full stack. When quizzed about why they hadn't used what if or checked with anyone before running the script, full stack claimed they were never told about what if and that I had never told them they needed to check with me before running templates against AD. The eyes in the room turned to me as I went through my email to find the rules I had set, that full stack had acknowledged. I forwarded the email to the participants of the meeting. full stack tried to make excuses, that I hadn't explained it properly, etc., etc., and so we asked full stack to leave the room. Me and my manager had originally agreed before the meeting that we would likely give full stack a light slap on the wrist. The mistake occurred over lunch, the impact to end users were minimal, we all make mistakes, etc. And we didn't want to discourage their journey on the path of PowerShell, but we also didn't want the same mistakes happening again. But when full stack decided to lie, instead of accepting their mistake, they received a written warning for this incident and we banned them from using PowerShell against AD after that. And, unfortunately, as full stack had only been hired on a 1-year contract and there were 3 months until it was up, we decided not to extend it when the contract came to an end. There were obviously other contributors to this decision, but this one is probably the one that sealed full stack's fate. Workaholics aren't your friend, by user Turkish 30. I have a coworker who is terrible with time management, and therefore ends up working a lot of hours at home after working a full day in the office. She also works weekends. I wouldn't normally care about this, but she's wholly incompetent when it comes to technology and has a tenuous grasp on the English language, and yes, it is her primary and only language. I have been to her house, multiple times, to help get her home computer working on our corporate network so she can connect to all the resources she needs to do her job. Is this standard for a company to expect their IT employees to set up home computers? Anyway, internet issues and computer changes has sent me to her house more than a handful of times. I do it because I'm nice, maybe too nice. My company's resources are 100% in the cloud at this point, so we only have a VPN into the cloud network, which is literally up 99.99999% of the time. The only way there's a problem with the connection is if there's a problem with someone's home network or computer. So when this lady sends me a text saying she can't connect, I know it's nothing on my end. Yesterday, while I'm grocery shopping, I get a text from this lady saying, I can log into the system from home. Did you change something? I literally laughed out loud as I typed, no changes, but it's good that you can log in. She goes on to say she needs to place orders from home for a project, to which I respond, I'm not stopping you. You said you can log in. Then she sends me a screenshot of the remote desktop connection saying it can't connect to the server, the standard error message if you are either not connected to the network, or the machine you're connecting to isn't on the network or not powered on. Is your VPN connected? She sends me a screenshot of her VPN connection that says connecting. And she says, yes, it's connected. Again, I laugh out loud and type, it's not connected, it say it's connecting. Reboot. She responds, okay, I'll reboot for the second time. Right, I believe that she already rebooted once, sure. After a couple minutes I get, okay, I'm in. Literally a minute later, I get, booted out. I respond, well, I can't do much from the grocery store. She says, okay, and within another minute, back in. I mean, I have to laugh, but I don't know if this is a matter of incompetence, or what, but her inability to read/write things in their entirety is just frustrating. And the fact that it was multiple things in one conversation makes it all the more annoying. Secure Data Deletion, by user John Madden Sysadmin. We had a customer come in with an old beige desktop, and requested that it be recycled and the data on it destroyed. He said he had tried it himself but still wanted to be sure it was gone for good. A bit of an odd request, but another old box for me to mess around with once we're done, so fine by me. He signs the paperwork and heads off. I take the machine to the bench and hear something rattling around inside. Upon opening the case, I immediately laugh my ass off. His idea of data destruction was to rip the heatsink, CPU, and socket directly off the motherboard and leave it hanging. The power and IDE cables to the drives had been cut with scissors as well. The HDDs were untouched.